Hello， 观众，欢迎收看今天的德玛西亚杯，我是娃娃，
我是米勒。
大家好，我是白翠芽。
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hugo Souldra, and I'm here tonight for a beautiful set, best of 3 between Acfun and Hangong Club. This is the Demacia Cup, and we are in week 5, and I'm here tonight with the beautiful and lovely Miss Ryan Froskurinn Watch. Fro, how are you doing?
I've never had an intro quite like that, Hugo, and I'm doing fantastic.
You know, this is my first time playing play-by-play casting, so I do hope that the our Twitch audience goes a little bit easy on me. But hopefully, you know, obviously these teams aren't of the highest caliber in China, but hopefully we do see some of that, you know, classic fighting, fight-heavy LPL style that makes the Chinese scene so entertaining.
And you are right. It's today it's not any LPL team. So a little background about the Demacia Cup for those who haven't watched it. I know that the Demacia Cup likes to really get to champ select, so we'll try to hurry this up. It's a tournament of 28 teams, TGA Grand Prix teams, LSPL teams, and LPL teams. It's for a $115,000 total prize pool. I believe the winner walks away with $48,000. This is US dollars, so it's not for any qualifier points, not for circuit points. You don't get into a free split or anything with this. It's literally just for the bragging rights and the chunk of change. The one thing that is very unique about the Demacia Cup, however, is that it includes everyone. It's not just the LPL, it's not just LSPL, but it's the entire all 28 teams coming together and playing together. So it's very nice sometimes to see these not as experienced teams facing off against the LPL teams that we all know and love. And today, like you said, it's going to be Acfun versus the Hangong Club.
Right, and you know, even though some Western fans might not consider $48,000 to be the largest chunk of change out there, this is, you know, a very large prize pool, especially by some of the standards that we see in the Asian regions. Now, what do you think, and we're probably going to get into picks and bans very soon here, but what do you think we're going to see out of both of these teams?
Well, going over the rosters, so Acfun, they have, if you watch LPL, the player that you might recognize is NCT. He was the previous mid lane, I think was the last position he played for Royal Club. Had some pretty questionable Lulu ults, but
yeah,
he is playing mid for Acfun now. They also have Shine, who is their support, and I guess he was considered to be a support pickup by OMG. So I'm going to put heavily emphasis on that. I think Acfun is the favorite here to win. Hangong Club, pretty much across the roster, to me at least, it's a lot of unknowns. They're not actually an LSPL team. They didn't qualify for LSPL. They came from the TGA Grand Prix. They are well known though for the G League. They happen to knock out OMG. So I don't know how someone goes from knocking out OMG from the G League to then not qualifying for LSPL, but you know, it happens. They do have a star player in the form of BML, however. They're 80 carry, so go figure. A Chinese team has a star player that's an 80 carry.
Right, and you know, the LSPL, it is important to remember that while the LPL does run only 8 teams, the LSPL, I believe, runs 16. So to not have made the LSPL despite having, you know, some prestigious history, obviously if you knock off a team like OMG, that's, you know, that's pretty big as we get into picks and bans here. You know, they've been looking shaky recently, so immediately we see the Kale ban coming out from Acfun, we see the Thresh ban coming out from Hangong Club, fairly standard bans right now, and a Lee Sin ban as well.
Consistently staying standard with that Lee Sin ban. And it's important to know that this is a best of 3 sudden death elimination. So if you lose here, you're completely out of the tournament. I believe that this is the second to last round of the round of 16, so we're almost into the next round. Following ban going to be that Braum, again, very standard across the board.
Right, and an Evelyn ban coming out here, so we want to see whether Hangong Club wants to ban the Kassadin, or if not, leave the Kassadin open for a potential first pick. Even though, and so the Kassadin is going to be banned, so I think we might see the Lulu here.
Undoubtedly. Big Chinese pick is that Lulu. Again, since they put a lot of their strength on their 80 carries, it makes sense that they would prize utility-style mids and tops to kind of pass that power from the early mid-game into the late game for the 80 carry.
Oh,
ooh, Jarvan.
Jarvan. That would be an interesting pick. Alright, so the Jarvan is looking locked in for Acfun. Wow, what a really, you know, interesting early pickup for what I think is the more favored side for this matchup.
Definitely, and it could be that they're responding to the Lee Sin ban, and so it's kind of been right now in LPL at least that it's like Lee Sin, Jarvan are kind of like the go-to junglers, Kha'Zix, Rengar, you can throw them in there occasionally, so it's, you know, if Lee Sin's banned, I want to pick up the next one that I think will work for my team. On the other side, gonna be that Leona lock-in as well as the Orianna hover. We talked about the utility-style mages, Leona. AD or supports in China, they love to have hard engage tools. They love things like Leona, like Thresh.
Definitely. I mean, when you're fighting so much, especially in the Chinese professional setting or even in the Chinese amateur setting, you know, a champion like the Radiant Dawn, that Leona is very useful to have. But it does look like Lulu is going to be instantly locked in by NCT, and I mean, when a priority champion falls to you in the third rotation, then you almost always have to lock that kind of pick in.
So NCT did play a lot of Lulu in his time on Royal Club. Like I said, he didn't get the best reviews for that position, and obviously has since then replaced and kind of knocked down to the LSPL Acfun. I will say though that the game that I was watching to try to get a bit of a grip on these teams, he was 3-0. So complete turnaround of his normal composure in the LSPL.
So we have to wonder whether, because Minoko did change his summoner spell, he was running Teleport and now he's running Ignite, and I think that is a popular summoner spell on Tarp Jarvan, so you do have to wonder whether that is a top J4. Looks like Victor will secure himself the Lucian here, while on the other side, for the side of Hangong Club, I believe that Suda is going to lock in the Shyvana, and it looks like BML is going to take the Twitch. So, you know, fairly standard picks coming out, and I think we're going to see a lot of team fighting with these compositions.
And no surprise there that their star player BML on that Twitch will pick up a hyper carry. I know that he's known for his flashy plays. At least he was recognized for having some flashy Jinx and Lucian plays, so I don't know how flashy you can get with Twitch without instantly dying, but I wouldn't mind seeing some crazy on Twitch. Ooh, Gragas top. So with that Gragas being hovered, that's going to be a J4 jungle.
Yeah, and Gragas does do fairly well, would do fairly well against Suda's Shyvana. The most curious thing here, obviously, is the Ignite that Minoko is still hovering over, because, you know, usually when you and I cast the LPL, we usually see the Gragas tops run Teleport. So, really interesting adaptation. We have to keep an eye on whether, Minoko does decide to change the summoner spell. He is going to run the Teleport top Gragas.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Obviously, Gragas has a lot of utility that he can bring to teams, so I want to take that teleport so he can get more involved here. I like the fact that Shine is actually running the Morgana support. It's been a long time. I feel like we haven't really seen any Morganas pop up.
It definitely has, yeah. And Morgana, of course, is a very strong champion, even though not as popular in the LPL and the Chinese scene, and as I think in the OGN as well. I don't see nearly as many Morgana picks both in the OGN and in the NLB, so nice pickup from Shine there. They really want to put a lot of, give a lot of strength to their AD carry, Victor, and make sure, he's able to carry from the early to middle stages of the game. And I think the last pick for Kyo will be that Elise lock-in.
And Elise, the other go-to jungler, I feel like Elise has fallen a little bit wayside as well in kind of the recent jungle meta picks as far as like in the LPL. I know the LSPL, it's kind of interesting, even though one of these teams isn't from the LSPL, it has a little bit of a different meta, I feel, just because, I mean, technically you have more teams, so there's more places to find like individual people to push strategy and to not plateau on kind of like a stagnant composition.
Right.
I find that there's a lot more Kassadin play in the LSPL. There was a lot more Twisted Fate play. It's kind of exploded now into the LPL with kind of the return of form of Cool, but...
Yeah, and so, obviously going down the list, if I can remember off the top of my head, Acfun locked in a very standard, I myself call it the Invictus gaming composition. They have the Jarvan 4 in the jungle, they have Gragas top, Lulu mid, Morgana support, and they do have Victor on that Lucian as his AD carry, while on the other side, I believe that the members of Hangong Club locked in Shyvana for the top lane, and we see the picks coming up here. Crow's going to have the Elise, CK is going to have the Orianna, BML is going to have the Twitch, and Y is going to have the Leona. So tell me what both of these teams are going to be looking to do in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the game.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be that ball delivery service anytime you have the Ori Shyvana. And it's weird because these teams kind of have similar power spikes, at least as far as the mid game is concerned. I will give it to Hangong Club that they carry over more into the late game, but the Oriana mid-game power spike as well as the Shyvana is really scary, and Twitch with the Ghostblade build path can now get a really good mid-game power spike. If Acfun wants to win this, they have to win on Lulu's mid-game power with Lucian. So I expect that it'll kind of be calm. I mean, as calm as Chinese League of Legends can go. Obviously, they like to fight early. I feel like it's gonna be calm as soon as you come into kind of that 15-20 minute. There should be a huge power swing for Acfun, and they need to kind of close it then and there, because if this game goes longer, they don't have the composition to really work out against a Twitch Ori.
Right, and we do see the standard 5-man fans setting up along the line of scrimmage in the river that goes through the middle of Summoner's Rift. It does look like that Acfun's going to be getting the standard lanes, which you really think has to be a minor win for that team, especially since you're having the Gragas lane against Suda's Shyvana as well as the Morgana Lucian into a standard 2v2 lane.
Effectively, with the Lucian and Morgana, that lane's unkillable. You think Lucian's got the Relentless Pursuit and the Black Shield. The thing that I think Hangong is going for the 2v2 simply because they have a Leona. Historically, Leona doesn't do well in the 2v1s, which is why we're seeing so many Leona roams when that support gets picked. So I like the fact that they're keeping her to the lane and that she's also running Ignite. It tells me that both bot lanes are looking for blood.
And hopefully those lanes will be as exciting as the Ignite seems to tell. And it looks like almost immediately from the start, both Shine and Crow zoning off the members of the Hangong Club's bottom lane off of this wave. It does look like they'll be able to CS it pretty well, and it's not that surprising considering that Hangong Club's duo lane, had to leash for Crow's Elise at the blue buff.
The other really important thing about kind of how that matchup works, and if Shine and Victor are going to play this correctly, Morgana obviously has incredible pushing potential, though we see that she drops that Dark Soil kind of off the back minion wave. Typically what you'll do is you'll drop it on the caster minion wave, and you'll tag, getting locked up by a Dark Binding, taking some decent amount of damage, is you'll drop it on the back caster wave, and you'll tag both the enemy champions as well as the minions and keep that wave push. And you always want to have a wave pushed against Leona because it makes it really hard for her to fully engage on you, because then not only does she have to stick to you and get kind of right in the middle of your face, but she has to fight you and the minion wave that you've built up. So I like this call from Shine and Victor.
Definitely. And it looks like, looking across the lanes, we have fairly even CS numbers across the board. Froskurinn, how are you doing today? I know it's very early for you, so I'm sorry you had to get up so
I know,
early.
you're talking about, it's late night, it's my evening. I was like, shouldn't you be out on the town, Hugo?
Yeah, and, I'm a very personable person, and obviously, my 115 followers on Twitter shows that I get a lot of people want to see where I'm at, but, duty calls, and when certain members of our play-by-play casting crew can't make it to tonight's cast, I gotta pick up the slaps. So hopefully we deliver some good LPL action today, but for right now, within the first 4 minutes of the game, it doesn't look like anything special is happening. We might see Y going on to Acfun's AD carry. He's going to get locked up by a Dark Binding. Can we see Victor turn it around? He gets a lot of damage onto that Leona. Oh, another piercing light goes on right there. And so far, pretty good early wins for the side of Acfun.
Oh, but here comes Jarvan here, maybe looking for some action. EM trying to see if he can get the Flagon Dragon. I don't think it's going to be available to him, though. That wave is not pushed in his favor, so I feel like he's wasting... Yep, there he goes. He's like, you know what? Maybe I don't want this. Ooh, trying for the lane gank. Doesn't know that the front bush is warded, though. Oh, now the gank goes down.
Yeah, and Crow is actually coming down, so they do... And there's going to be another fight right here. Y engages onto Shine. Shine might fall right here, depending on who Crow decides to go on. And we see the Jarvan coming back, and we don't know. Nice flash Flagon Dragon. Is that going to be a kill onto Crow? Crow's going to flash out, try to escape, run as fast as he can. That's an easy little spider going up the lane, and it looks like despite a lot of flashes traded, BML did burn both his flash and heal, while Victor only burned his heal, and Shine blew both summoners as well. So it looks like a fairly even trade coming out of the bottom lane, despite a lot of damage put onto all of these champions.
I feel like it went slightly in favor of Acfun though, just because you got the Twitch flash and the heal. I think that's much more viable than anything the jungler is going to be carrying on them. That said, the wave is consistently pushed over against that Twitch's side, so if I was Acfun at this point, I would say, you know, Twitch has no escape. Ooh, but Souldra taken pretty low. He's just going to walk that one off. Twitch has no escape. Freeze the wave, get it back into the middle, and call Jarvan for another repeat gank. And we do see him back in the bot lane.
So it does look like he's going to be pushing for a gank. He unfortunately misses the knockup, even though Shine lands the Dark Binding. And can we see another kill here? That looks like the Lightslinger passive will not be able to take BML down. He's going to live with a sliver of health right now. His health bar is blinking red. It looks like that Acfun's going to get a lot of damage onto this turret, or alternatively, they can decide just to go home right now and buy a lot of items. And we do see the pause come out. So, Fro, what do you think about the first 6 minutes of this game? Exactly 6 minutes, actually.
Pretty standard, actually. I expected that the junglers would be involved in the bot lane. It's funny, though, because you think internationally junglers spend more time mid or top. It's kind of been a little wonky just because of kind of the 4v0 into the double jungle meta that the jungler's position has recently changed in the game. But historically speaking, it was always kind of like a 2v2 in the mid lane. It was your 2v2 in the bottom, your support, your AD carry, and then your jungler and your mid laner kind of before the 4v0 meta took hold. In China, though, because you have so many strong AD carries and it's so much focused on the AD carry, the junglers are like constantly down there. Like when you have like gank-heavy junglers in the Chinese scene, they consistently gank bottom. So I find that very interesting that it's sticking with these two teams despite not having, you know, that professional level experience that it's true in the LSPL and the TGA Grand Prix.
Yeah, so that we are going to get unpaused right here, so we're going to resume play in this first game of the best of 3 between Acfun and Hangong Club. Looks like so far the CS numbers are relatively even. Perhaps the biggest surprise of the past few minutes is that Acfun's top laner, Minoko, hasn't been able to get a significant lead against Souda's melee-focused Shyvana. So hopefully he'll be able to press the advantages in his lane a little bit harder. It looks like EM is going to do the wolves right here. Let's see where he goes next, or if he just decides to back. And, you know, the mid lane, we said that the mid lane might be a focus, and it looks like, so far in this lane, CK does have a pretty solid lead. So, and we might see another gank at the bottom lane, depending on how fast the Black Shield wears out. Nice Black Shield by Shine to completely keep his AD carry safe. You know, you said before, that combination of the Relentless Pursuit, the E on Lucian, as combined with Shine's Black Shield on the Morgana, a very strong combination. They are going to get pushed off this wave, though, which does mean that BMO will get some free time in lane, and, you know, given how far he is behind on CS, exactly 13 CS down, you know, that's a pretty big win for the side of Hangong Club.
Exactly. What I do want to point out, though, is the wording from Acfun. Typically, we don't praise Chinese teams on their wording, but I actually feel like, I mean, it's simple, it's just a single word, and Souldra actually, again, taking it really hard to Minoko in that top lane. Doesn't win the trade, but is definitely showing that he wants that CS and he'll fight for it. But the warding down there, that's what they've had effective wards in the brush to see when Jarvan came through for a lane gank. They've had effective wards in the river to check when both Jarvan and Crow on his Elise are coming down, and I feel like it's pretty much saved the lives of both that bot lane. We've had some couple close calls, and the fact that Victor and Shine's lane, the Morgana Lucian, is pretty much unkillable with Black Shield Relentless Pursuit. You talked about that, but I'm happy that early wards are going down. I feel like Chinese games, typically the map is completely dark.
Yeah, especially in, you know, in a match featuring these two challenger teams in the LSPL, we often see teams forget that vision is indeed king in the game of League of Legends. We're going to resume action right here. It does look like CK is going to take his Wraiths, you know, always trying to get that extra CS, always trying to push his advantages against NCT, despite the fact that, you know, in lane, those two champions should be relatively even. So good on CK for getting the really early advantages. He's about 14 CS ahead in lane right now, and it looks like Souldra and Minoko are going to exchange blows, even though Minoko has not yet blown the explosive cask, so that ultimate is still up for him. You wonder if Souldra just ulted it, uses Dragon's Descent just to clear the wave and then back. He does have both top laners do have the teleport up, so they can, you know, clear the waves if they want to, and then go back and buy, and maybe try to, you know, purchase a few additional items in order to press their advantages in lane.
I like the fact that you brought up that Ori and Lulu are very similar in what they do. Although we do have EM looking for another gank, possibly. Twitch's flash is back up. Oh, excuse me, it's not back up. It's Sliver left on that cooldown, so BML could be
Ooh. Nice Cataclysm onto the BML right there. BML is going to die. The question is Y going to fall as well? The Dark Binding hits, but Y does escape with his life. Very nice. I think there was some kind of weird animation with that Cataclysm.
It
Yeah,
just, exploded from the earth.
Yeah. He more like an earthquake or something like that, because I didn't see EM jumping at all. So nice gank. They decided that they wanted to get the bottom lane ahead right when EM's Jervin 4 hit level 6. Crow does have knowledge that EM is in the bottom lane though, so he's going to try to make something happen in the middle lane. Looks like he's posturing right now.
It's gonna be hard to get this gank off on Lulu.
Oh, nice wild growth, actually. He's able to flash out. He burns the heal as well, so both summoner spells as well as the ultimate down from NCT's Lulu. However, I think that is worth it if you consider the fact that NCT was able to get out with his life right now. So Acfun still does have that 1 kill advantage and about 900 gold in the lead. And then we see another fight right here. Shine does put on the Dark Binding to WI. Is WI going to die right here? I think he just might, despite the Solar Flare burn now. The question is, can Crow turn it around? Shine is running away. Crow's obviously going to go for Shine right now. And he does dodge the Dark Binding. Nice repel. Oh, Shine actually barely gets out of the range for repel. So it looks like Crow's not going to be able to finish off the kill onto the Acfun support. Another really nice small triumph for the side of Acfun. For that, BML was the star of the Hangong Club. And the fact that they're keeping that bottom lane down so effectively is really encouraging to see, even though Hangong Club might rotate towards this dragon right here.
With Elise, this is very possible to do, especially with the damage output that Twitch can bring. She has her Spider Link, she's able to tank up Dragon quite effectively. We do see the rotation coming over from Oriana to help out CK in that mid lane. I'm kind of really impressed with Crow's movements around the map. I actually think he has some really nice fancy footwork. In CT, I kind of want to talk about that gank that happened in the mid lane, because I feel like that was a huge mechanical misstep. Yeah, he got out with his life, but he burned his wild growth, his flash, and his heal. So next time Crow comes around, he might not be so lucky.
Speaking of Crow, he might not get another play right here. Ooh, Shine does put the black shield on himself. Does Y have his ultimate? No, he does not. He doesn't have the flash either, so it does look like that play is going to, remain playless. And back to you, Fro.
And just look at the damage, though, that Crow just did to Shine all on his own. And he's running around with a Kindle Gem, so obviously going for that CDR to get more cocoons off has been pretty effective with all of them.
And Minoko does put a little bit of harass onto Suda's Shyvana. Both Suda and Minoko do have their ultimates up, so they can choose to skirmish if they want to. But it looks like Minoko is going to be pushing waves all day, despite the fact that even though Minoko clearly is a little bit stronger than Suda at the moment, Suda does have the advantage in CS, albeit a small 4 CS advantage, but still. Oh, now he has the advantage. Sorry. So basically, Minoko and Suda are exchanging CS advantages in the top lane, despite the fact that, in my personal view, Minoko should be winning, a little bit harder than that. So we'll see how the top lane ends up, and we'll see when those teleports come back, whether those top laners are going to come down to make some early plays.
I think it was just good itemization from Suda there. Oh, the colon coming out, but BML is going to sneakily dodge it with a nice ambush. I feel like Gragas needed to win that early, like really pressure his advantage with like his range abuse on the Q. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out, and then Suda did the correct itemization of grabbing the lifesteal onto the magic resist, so now it's kind of like really hard for Gragas to output as much damage that he's not going to be able to just lifesteal straight back.
Yeah, and considering that we're only 13 minutes into the game, yet both Suda and Minoko have 121 and 119 CS respectively, they're farming pretty fantastically, despite the fact that, there is a lot of trade going on in that lane. Crow does come, he does sweep out another ward, so it does look like he won't be able to pull off a gank in the bottom lane, but you did mention it before that Crow's looking very active all across the map, and hopefully, just hopefully, he'll get one of these plays to happen. It looks like Crow's going to posture for the mid lane, but it doesn't look like he'll be able to make anything happen. Yeah, definitely.
There's 2 pink wards, so Crow here trying to completely control vision on the river for Hangong Club here. But that one sneaky trinket ward in the brush from NCT to ensure his safety there, the fact that Crow's walking around with the sweeper, that he immediately walks into a bush, he drops, like, it sounds like really basic things like, duh, this is what a jungler should do, but we don't necessarily really see this in Chinese League of Legends. It's like the wards Fun fact, you cannot buy wards in Chinese League of Legends. They literally don't show up in the shop.
Yeah. And the client does ban ward coverage, it does seem, but we will see Acfun remain with a 400 gold lead at the 14-minute mark. Not a huge margin by any means. It does show how well the members of Hangong Club are farming despite 2 early kills in the bottom lane's name in Victor's name. So all eyes are on Victor right now to see. He already has the BF sword built up, while actually BML has the Blade of the Rune King as well. So Victor has a BF sword built up. I expect he does have a lot of gold in the bank, so it really is up to him to try to make a play. And we see BML actually heading towards the mid lane as opposed to the bottom lane. So
with that pickaxe, is he rushing an eye edge?
Yeah, so I mean, the popular build in China right now is to go Infinity Edge, and then you can alternatively go into either the Static Shiv or the Bloodthirster as well. So a lot of options once you do rush the Infinity Edge, but Victor is clearly looking to carry right now, and it looks like that 4 members of the Hangong Club squad are going to force NCT off this turret and claim some early gold for themselves.
I think with the eye edge build path on Lucian, I think it's a little strange, not quite cost-effective to his power spike. I think he's really looking at going for a more of a traditional late-game Lucian build to try to stay even with BML when Twitch starts to outscale, because otherwise I can't really stand behind how expensive that build is and how it really
is an
doesn't
expensive
synergize.
build.
But Minoko going a little bit hard, throws the cask.
The question is, can Shine lock him up? I don't even know what the skill is called. I hate casting like this. So yeah, the Soul Shackles does come out. Shine is able to chain that into a Dark Binding, and looks like it was actually Minoko who does grab the kill while Victor only got the assist. So they will be able to return a turret, and it is now 2 turrets to 1 because and looks like they're going to try to make that turret last as long as they could, to kill as many minions as it can. But it does look like and we see another fight right here, EM's going to go on to Crow. NCT does use the Wild Growth. There is a nice shockwave. A Solar Flare comes in as well. Zenith Blade in. The Gragas did rotate down to the bottom lanes. What can Minoko do? Minoko is on CK right now. NCT is very low. NCT has the Black Shield. CK is low as well. Minoko is going to be able to take him out. Nice fight for the side of Acfun, despite the fact that actually a really nice fight for the side of Hangong Club. I thought that they had lost. It was an even trade, but Hangong Club was able to camp in the bush and turn around initial aggression that came out of EM's Jarvan 4 and Jarvan the 4th. Hangong Club is also going to be able to get this bottom lane turret, even though I don't know whether BML will survive. We talked about his mechanics. Let's see if they help him at all right now. The ambush does wear off.
He's looking for the ambush, but he has the red buff on him. There he goes.
Yeah, wow, Minoko actually whiffs that. There is a pink ward though, so it does look like Victor's going to pick up the kill, and this might set up that dragon. Crow's actually in a bad spot right now. 1 Dark Binding will do it. It looks like Shine's going to miss the Dark Binding, but that still doesn't mean much when one member, especially your prime carry BML, is dead and not on the Summoner's Rift. So it does look like that this will be a relatively free dragon for the side of Acfun. They're continuing to press their advantages. This is now a 2k gold lead, 2.3k gold lead actually at the 17-minute mark. And if you have a Lulu in your composition, if you have a Gragas in your composition, if you have a Lucian in your composition, I think this is where you want to be.
Effectively, in the last 3 minutes, Acfun has made terrific.
Nice command shockwave. Can the side of Hangul Club make anything out of this? One member does go down, and looks like CK is going to be able to clean up. Can he flashes forward. He's not going to be able to get the final kill. Minoko does turn around. He does kill CK. And is Minoko going to be able to get any more damage off? Shine does go out, and the final sponge tick does kill him. Is BML going to carry this game? BML, he does have the double buffs. Is he going to be able to turn it around? BML is going to fall. Can NCT fight out Crow? There is the Whimsy, but Crow does get the final execute on to, I believe that was NCT, so really nice ace, and that was actually a 4v5. We see Suda split pushing the top lane, and I think that really started when CK got that nice 3-man command shockwave, and Wyatt chained that into a beautiful solar flare.
I was just about to commend Acfun that they had been so I know, they had been so perfect on the rotation. Just to think, they took the bottom lane tower, they immediately rotated to top lane tower, took that, started to rotate mid, got involved on the back half of the big fight, now trying to steal a blue buff, got the big fight in the mid, transitioned it into a dragon, and then came back for the mid-tier tower, and then ate a gorgeous 4-man shockwave from CK there. And like you said, it was a 4v5, so it was a perfect rat-a-tat-tat, a great shockwave. But you have to think that numbers advantage really messing with them. I mean, this is mid-game. This is when you're supposed to have your power spike as Lulu and Lucian. And again, Orianna, so dangerous if she's just left alone. Look at that, 209 CS at 20 minutes. That's very close to perfect CS.
Yeah, that is very close to perfect CS. Additionally, CK has continually been farming Wolves Raze whenever he's pushed NCT up his side of the map, especially since CK and 3 other members of Hangong Club did take that mid lane turret earlier. So, you have to wonder whether Acfun's gonna tilt a little bit right now. They know that they got completely aced, despite the fact that there were only 4 men on the side of Hangong Club at the time, because Souldra decided not to teleport in, and just, BML picked up 3 kills for himself right there, I believe, and just what beautiful play from, the 2 carries of Hangong Club. Not to take anything away from the other members as well. Y chained the command shockwave into a beautiful solar flare and zenith blade combo, and Crow did a lot. I think it was actually, in fact, Crow who finished off the ace by getting the execute onto NCT. So really well played by every single member of Hangong Club, and the game is basically even right now. It looks like BML's posturing for lane gank, but Minoka does run away. Yeah, he is looking for some sneaky rat plays.
Unfortunately, I feel like NCT really dropped the ball. Like, if I'm going to put blame anywhere on Acfun right now for kind of their lackluster performance, and it is 8-7, so it's not that bad, but NCT should not have lost the lane that hard. Orianna does do well in the lane phase. Obviously, she has great range. She has her shield. She can just walk up and auto-attack you. It's kind of like Ziggs. She has an empowered auto-attack. Lulu is known for her bowling phase. Ooh, but BML looking for this ambush. Will he find it?
And BML is actually... No, it was Souldra who was actually able to activate his Blade of the Rune King, but it does look like Minoko is going to get on out of there. The question is, can Acfun turn this around, or will CK land them with another beautiful shockwave? You can see how cautious NCT is being around the command attack, the ball control coming from the side of, and a really nice stun up from EM. CK is going to get locked up. I don't think he even got his ultimate off. No, he did, but it was only onto 2 members. We see the rat attack goes out. BML is very low right now. Minoko is low. BML is still alive right now. The question is, can ENM finish BML off? The kiting is amazing. No, but EM is going to finish the kill off. A flash forward from Crow, and it looks like Souldra and Crow are going to clean up the fight. Another ace for the side of a Hangong Club, and this is not how we thought the match was going to go. They're actually posturing towards this Baron. We know how well, when you have a Blade of the Rune King on the Siobhan, and the Souldra is relatively at full health too, as well as how well Elise does on the Baron. So, the question is, Shine is alive on the Morgana, and I believe that almost all the members of Acfun have 5 seconds left on their death timers. Can the members of Acfun make it in time? But it looks like they won't be able to, especially since Minoko did burn his teleport earlier to get into the previous fight, which Acfun lost. They actually lost, they traded 3 kills to 5, and it looks like it's going to be a very strong statement coming out from Hangong Club. I think you and I were both underestimating them in the beginning of this game, but now they traded 3 kills to 5, and in addition, they were able to get that Baron buff. So really nice play coming out from Hangong Club.
A 22-minute Baron is pretty much incredible, and for how quickly that dropped to Elise and Shivani, you talked about the Bork, obviously, and now Shine caught up in the mid lane by a shockwave, and completely gets decimated right there. But as I was saying,
that was unfortunate.
I know, right? We did give this to Acfun just because they have the they made it into the LSPL. It's technically, the challenger scene, the fact that Hangong Club didn't even qualify. But we did talk about in the beginning that in G League, this was the team, 4 out of the 5 members on the roster, that knocked out OMG in the G League. So they had the potential there, and they've shown that they can I mean, effectively played really well. I'm going to give this entirely to BML. His kiting on Twitch and CK, the shockwaves are pretty on point. Like, Acfun, when they fought that last team fight where they got aced, they didn't do anything incorrect other than they weren't able to lock out BML. You saw that they instantly, you know, we just got hit by a 4-man shockwave in our last fight, so we're going to completely split up. CK only got the 2-man shockwave on Shyvana and Jarvan that time around, so it's not like he got priority targets, but so much was expended to try to lock down that Orianna that they couldn't deal with the other threat. So Hong Kong gets to take another dragon right there, and now they stretch out their gold lead to 45k.
And to your point, we did see EM, you know, basically burn everything to take the Orianna out. You know, I believe that EM did use the Cataclysm on CK, and then he flashed out of the Cataclysm in order to get on BML, but BML was just able to kite away from those kills and, you know, extend the fight long enough for Crow and Souldra to just completely clean up the fight. And BML now, you know, for the next fight, he will have both his flash and his heal up, so you have to be even more scared of his fight potential and how well he can do. You know, he has the ambush utility up. The question is, can he set a pick on Victor, even though it looks like Minoko's waiting in the wings?
I feel like this is very expected, and I like the read from Acfun here, but it looks like Minoko and...
This might be a kill. Yeah, it does look like Victor will use his 6th sense to get out of there and run away with his life. Souldra and BML are split pushing on opposite sides of the map. You know, nothing can really stop them right now. I mean, Souldra is 2-1-2, Crow is 3-0-7, and I think BML started something off like 0-2, and now he just, you know, earned 5 kills in a really quick succession. In addition, he's going to grab the enemy red buff, so Hangong Club looks like they're in a very good position right now, and they're ready to siege this bottom lane turret. But not if ENM has anything to say something about it. Oh, the Cataclysm is flashed out of BML, is going to completely destroy the enemy team. Oh, what a nice explosive cast by Minoko. Completely decimates BML. He's able to knock him back into the turret, and then Shadow's able to get a Dark Binding. Y is going to run away. It looks like Souldra is chasing. Can Minoko roll over the wall, and he's going to get another explosive cask onto Y. But with a really nice explosive cask onto BML to knock him into the rest of the members of Acfun, and they just completely blew him up that time.
Acfun does get a nice pick that time around. Like you said, the explosive cast was a key player in that last team fight. Unfortunately, it still wasn't a full-on 5v5, and even in 4v5 situations, they haven't looked the strongest. So if their composition is going to rely on making picks, they have some tools to do it. I mean, obviously, you have the Dark Binding at max level. It can stun you for pretty much, I think it's like 3 seconds. It's a ridiculously long time. You feel like you're standing there for 45 minutes locked up in that Dark Binding. But other than that, they have more of a you know, full 5v5 team fight oriented composition, and at 26 minutes, 36 minutes, the swing of power, it isn't there for them. We talked about how they needed to make plays in the mid game on the Lucian power spike, otherwise they were just literally going to get out-comped and outscaled. Unfortunately, that time has kind of risen, and now we see Souldra on the chase. Minoko does have Gragas, so he's quite flexible, but he's got a long way to run.
Yeah, and in addition, there are, as you mentioned before, you know, Acfun's going to be trying to, you know, demand some of these fights, especially since they know that their power spike is slipping away. But unfortunately for the side of Acfun, they don't have, you know, the greatest engage tools. You know, obviously they can try to set up the wombo combo, but if that wombo combo doesn't hit a lot of people and looks like BML might be going in, then Acfun might be very vulnerable to BML's outplays. You know, the other option would, of course, be for Shine to land a Dark Binding, but just look at the other side on the, you know, look at the other side on the team of Hangong Club. They have Orianna's Command Shockwave, which has already been very reliable as a source of initiate. Souldra can Dragon's Descent in. Y has a night, you know, Y's Solar Flare game today has been very nice. So they have a lot of tools of crowd control and engage that they can just unleash on the side of Acfun. And you really still have to think that despite the fact that Acfun is, you know, hanging really tough, they're keeping it in there. You know, this game really is in both right now and in the future. It's in Hangong Club's favor, yeah.
Yeah, it's their game to lose at this point. Their composition is better. Like you said, they have more versatility, more tools across the composition to feel out more play styles. They have the hard engage, they have pick potential, they have assassination potential. I mean, you see right there BML in ambush with the ball. They have a submarine comp if they really want to. Like if they don't want to use the ball delivery service of Elise or Shyvana, there are so many other tools if they're just skirmishing. Like it's not like they need the full 5v5 to be completely effective in their composition. They have so many different options.
Yeah, and I mean just the items across the board. Like, look how fed BML is. He already has Infinity Edge, the
That's
Blade
that's
Rune
like
King
full,
and the Phantom Dancer. Yeah,
full
I
item
mean,
Twitch at that point.
yeah, basically. And he decided not to go for the Youmuu's Ghost Blade. So instead of the assassination potential, he's just going to go for the full-on team fight. Will Suda be able to get this bottom lane turret? It doesn't look like it, but it does. I think that if Suda waits around for one more wave, he is going to be able to get the final auto attack on that turret, inner tier 2 turret. And it looks like he's going to take it right here. Will Acfun demand a fight? It looks like that they will. Shine flashes forward, but unfortunately he's stunned up. It looks like Y is going to get knocked up around. BML does get completely obliterated by EM's Jarvan 4. And now the fight is really starting. Suda does teleport in. Also, Mineko did teleport in as well. So the explosive cast hit no one, but just because Shine's Dark Binding was so on point, so it looks like a 2-for-0 trade for the side in favor of this side of Acfun. You know,
A couple of things went wrong.
yeah, EM with a beautiful Cataclysm right there, and you have to wonder whether Acfun's going to wait the 10 seconds in order to get the Baron buff.
They are now looking at Suda though. He's just gonna Dragon's Raid, burn out away.
Yeah, he's gonna burn that away.
A couple things went wrong there. CK wasn't in position. He was actually across map, so it was more of like a 3v4 until the teleport came in, 3v5 type of situation. Great Cataclysm, like you said, on BML. They are now going to start this Baron. I have a feeling though that HC knows what's going on. They're starting to mosey that way. Yep, ward goes over the wall. Baron's going down real fast though.
Unfortunately for the side of Hangong Club, that shockwave from CK does not get the Baron. The smite was still up on the side of Acfun, so EM is going to smite that one away. And it looks like that the second Baron buff of the game is going to Acfun Club. Need I remind the audience that in their, the members of HC are going to pick up the consolation prize right here in the Dragon, but need I remind the members of the audience that it was actually Hangong Club that was winning 4v5s, about 10-15 minutes ago, and that was when they got the first Baron of the game as well. So this game looks like it might be turning around in Acfun's favor. Of course, Hangong Club does have the advantage in that they have a very nice, well-scaling composition. Looks like it might be another pick right here. Shine might be dead.
Shine is definitely dead. The issue here, yes, Acfun did get the last team fight, but it was pretty much a resource issue on the side of HC. They put Suda in the bot lane. Of course, he teleported in at the very end or either walked his way there. But again, CK was not in position, so it's technically like a 3v4, 3v5 situation. I feel like, again, if this does break down to a 5v5, despite the Baron buff on Acfun, that Acfun is too far behind at this point. Gold is relatively close, but the composition of HC is just so much more, or so farther superior.
Yeah, I mean, gold is relatively close, but still, there is, we do have to remember that 6,000 gold, about 6,000 gold at the 31 minute mark is a pretty substantial lead, so I do think you're right, especially given how well the composition of Hangong Club scales. So I guess the real question is, what are both teams' next move? What do you think, Fro?
Right now, Acfun just looking for breathing room. Utilize the culling right there, Gragas push off. I mean, literally, if HC had Baron at that point, they would have eaten all those ultimates, just waited for the regen and re-engaged the tower. So Acfun got lucky there that they're the ones in control with the Baron again, giving them that breathing room, trying to make this happen into a second tier mid tower. Is it gonna fall? Effectively, they're wandering around the map. They're gonna pick up the gold that's left on it as far as in the lanes, in the jungle. But otherwise, they can't really do anything right now. They don't have any sort of super siege tools against. Ooh, Y needs to be careful. I don't know why they didn't go for that though. I mean, obviously it was a bait with that pink ward. They don't have any super siege tools against Orianna. Like CK with that blue buff completely stops any sort of push. They have to lock her down. But if they lock down CK, BML has already proven that if you don't prioritize him as the target for the Cataclysm, you will pay for it.
Definitely, there are so many threats on the side of Hangong Club right now. So Acfun, despite the fact that they're feeling pretty confident with their Baron buff, with the Baron regen, you can tell how cautiously and seriously they're taking this siege. I don't even know if they're going to be able to get this middle lane second tier turret, just because that turret has a lot of health on it, and additionally Acfun looks pretty scared. It does look like the members of Acfun are going to position for a fight though, but a missed command shockwave. Will Acfun go in on this? It looks like they're going to go very aggressively for that turret, and this might be an inhibitor turret as well. What a mistake coming out from CK.
I don't think it'll result in an inhib club or an inhib tower, but definitely a huge mistake, like you said, missing that shockwave, such a vital cooldown, and of course Acfun making the correct read, shockwaves down, we can go for this, but ooh, flash actually coming out from Y.
Yeah, it looks like Y actually input in, but he did not use a Solar Flare, so that Leona ultimate is still up for the massive crowd control, even if CK's ultimate is not up. But it is past the halfway point on its cooldown, so the CDR, CK's obviously running some CDR right now, but the inhibitor turret is going to go down. The question is, will Suda try to engage on this, and will the members of Hangong Club go in? Nice lock up on the NCT. NCT is going to get exploded right now. BML's going, he gets one, and then BML keeps cutting. EM eventually goes down. BML stuck in the Cataclysm. And we look on the other side of the fight. Shine has already used his Soul Shackles. It doesn't look like that's up either. Can Shine run away? That's the question. What a nice, the Shockwave just comes back up in time for CK to lock up one member, and it does look like Shine's going to go as well, especially when he gets the command dissonance speed up from CK. The question is, can the side of Hangong Club finish out this game, especially given the fact that there are 20-second death timers right now on the side of Acfun? Hangong Club is going to look to close out this game.
Huge mistake right there, got way too overzealous, although even bigger mistake. There was no reason to give up that inhibitor tower. Suda was way out of position, came back on the back half of that fight with the Dragon Assistant engagement. And that's pretty much what turned this into an inhibitor for an inhib tower in favor of HC right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that wasn't even Hangong Club's full, that wasn't their full teamfight potential either, especially since CK did not have the chance to unleash, a multi-man command shockwave onto the members of Acfun. So the side of Acfun still really has to be wary of that ball control coming out from CK. BML is a complete monster right now. You can see, despite the fact that, EM had a clear target that time, BML was still able to get so much damage around the map. It took him so long to connect that Cataclysm onto the AD carry of Hangong Club, and it does look like that for this next fight. BML is going to have his flash and heal back up, so that he's going to be even more dangerous.
Also has that Banshee Veil available for him, so this is a full 5-item Twitch. Still has his Doran's Blade in that slot, but he has effectively, he's long since had his core, but Phantom Dancer, Bork, Infinity Edge, BV. That's pretty much an unkillable Twitch, putting out the most damage that you could ever want from him. I think the last item, if he really wants to get crafty, he could look at a Last Whisper, but he has a couple different options. At this point, you could even go BT.
Right. The Last Whisper would help though, especially since EM and Minoka are both stacking armor. It seems like the Randuin's Omen items completed on both the jungler and top laner for Acfun. They recognize how strong CK is. You can see just EM is building the Spectre's Cowl as well, while Suda is split pushing the bottom lane. So the question is whether Acfun can make anything happen while Suda is not there, or whether they'll arrive to the team fights too late and just allow Suda to completely dominate the bottom lane. And it looks like that's what Acfun is doing. Minoko isn't really doing much to Suda's health bar, and it looks like the side of Hangong Club can decide to start baiting out this Baron. They do put a nice red trinket onto that brush, and they're going to sweep it out. So it seems like they recognize that the Baron respawns in about 5 seconds. The question is, what can they do with this information? Shine looks like he's going to get out. He does put the black shield on himself. Nice Zenith Bladed. It does look like Shine is going to go down, and I think that will mean a very free Baron for the side of Hangong Club. Not wise at all by Shine. Acfun support Shine to go in and try to check that Baron.
Shine did happen to get a ward down, so even though it's not spotted out by HC, Acfun does know that it's going down, trying to get in position for this. They do still have their smite available, so technically it's a 50-50 Baron, but Baron drops too fast over to HC, and here's the
and my goodness, EM, despite using his Cataclysm, just gets absolutely hammered during that fight. NCT and Victor are running for their lives, but the question is, can Suda wing around and get the flank on them? It looks like BML still has his Rat-a-tat-tat as well, so he's going to be able to pop that ultimate when he wishes to, and it looks like this turret is going to go down as well as the bottom lane inhibitor. But, honestly, Hangong Club can think about closing out the game right now. They're one of their large damage threats, at least one of their large frontline threats to the AD carry. EM is currently down, but it looks like they're going to take the safe route. Maybe think about some, shenanigans right here, and it looks like all the CC does miss. Suda completely whiffs on his Dragon's Descent, and it looks like they're not going to be able to get anything done. They're probably going to back out right now, wait for their cooldowns to come back up, and then just try to stomp the rest of the game by either assaulting the top lane turret or just going straight up for the win.
The middle inhibitor should be coming up pretty soon. I expect that that will kind of be the next point of contention here. Will probably fall back to the jungler, spin the gold. Obviously, Baron giving them a huge source of gold. This dragon that they're picking up now, clearing out the jungle, making sure that there's no resources on that side of the map, and then regrouping for that mid inhib, and then it'll definitely be the win. I can't really see this going back in favor of Acfun right now. 10k gold advantage right now in favor of HC. Their composition has outscaled. They've got their major items complete. I always love Twitch's little run animation when he runs on all fours. It's like adorable.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that Riot Games wanted to change when they did bring out the Twitch rework. And the Twitch run animation is pretty cool, despite the fact that I think they kind of bungled some of the names on the skills. But it does look like, as you mentioned before, that Hangong Club still is very much in control of this map. The middle inhibitor did respond, so it looks like the four core members of Hangong Club are going to push up the creeps in that middle lane, while Souldra does go to the top lane and try to split push and put as much pressure as he can onto the members of Acfun, trying to apply that global pressure. Of course, Souldra, I doubt that he's going to be able to use it, given how close the members of Hangong Club are. But Souldra does have his teleport up, and it looks like this inhibitor is relatively straightforward. Unless Minoku can make a play, he does go in onto Crow. Souldra is in right now. The question is Souldra going to use his Dragon's Descent? No. Victor does burn the culling. It doesn't hit a lot of people. Why? It does get caught out. Well, why burn? Oh my god, that's a very nice casket. Why doesn't hit? Actually doesn't hit anybody with that Solar Flare. EM's going to go in. He locks up the members of Hangong Club into that Cataclysm. BML is going to completely go ham on this team. Can BML scale it out is the question. Souldra comes back after taking out the backline of Acfun, but it does look like that the members of Acfun are going to go down, and you really have to think that this will be the game for the side of Hangong Club.
Too many key members down, inhibitors down. They're now pushing over onto the Nexus towers. NCT is up. See if he can make something happen here, but he has to defend against Crow, CK, and BML. This Twitch BV up pretty much almost entirely half health, and there goes NCT, as well as the second Nexus tower and the first game.
And that's going to be a really well played from Hangong Club. GG to them. They have to just win one more match to book their ticket into the next round of the Demacia Cup. And just tell me what went wrong for Acfun back then, because it looked like that Acfun obviously did get the first 2 kills. So where did they falter?
Acfun issues, they didn't take advantage of their composition. They had a inferior comp. We talked about how HC, Hangong Club, had more threats and more versatility on their composition. You cannot go into Twitch lane and come out even, which, I mean, you have to think that a lot of early ganks went down for Acfun. We got a 2-0 early lead for Lucian, Victor there on that Lucian. Unfortunately, it didn't translate into anything. There was a bad team fight in mid that happened around the 18-20 minute mark, which is, like we said, both those teams had a pretty decent power spike. Mostly it was due to the fact that CK right there landed a 4-man shockwave, and he was allowed to free farm, which, again, I go back to NCT. He had a pretty lackluster performance in LPL, and I feel like he had a huge lackluster performance in this one. I didn't ever look at those team fights and say, that was a great wild growth. It really, changed the course of that fight. It really put them back in it. The fact is, he lost a lane that he should have won early. Lulu has superior bowling potential over Orianna, despite Orianna's kit and the power that she has there. He lost huge in CS, and it was CK that really pulled that mid-game into a power spike for BML. I think he picked up 3 kills, a triple kill in that fight that just carried the rest of the game.
Yeah, so it looks like the members of Hangong Club, every individual member shined at some point, and every individual member of Hangong Club also, displayed a few faults and weaknesses, a few flaws in their gameplay here and there, but it does look like HE is going to pull out, a slight upset actually over Acfun in Game 1 and what is going to be a best-of-3 series. I do believe that we are going to go into a commercial. So my name is Hugo Soldier Shin. This is my first time play-by-play casting, so please be gentle. And besides me, as always, is the lovely and beautiful and graceful Ryan Froskurinn Moore. Froskurinn does mean frog in Icelandic or Finnish or something like that. So, but we'll be right back with the second game in this best-of-3.
here, you're completely out of the tournament. I believe that this is the second to last round of the round of 16, so we're almost into the next round. Following ban, going to be that Braum, again, very standard across the board.
Right, and an Evelyn ban coming out here, so we want to see whether Hangong Club wants to ban the Kassadin, or if not, leave the Kassadin open for a potential first pick, even though, and so the Kassadin is going to be banned, so I think we might see the Lulu here.
Undoubtedly. Big Chinese pick is that Lulu. Again, since they put a lot of their strength on their AD carries, it makes sense that they would prize utility-style mids and tops to kind of pass that power from the early mid-game into the late game for the AD carry.
Oh.
Ooh, Jarvan.
Jarvan. That would be an interesting pick. Alright, so the Jarvan is looking locked in for Acfun. Wow, what a really, interesting early pickup for what I think is the more favored side for this matchup.
Definitely, and it could be that they're responding to the Lee Sin ban, and so it's kind of been right now in LPL at least that it's like Lee Sin, Jarvan are kind of like the go-to junglers, Kha'Zix, Rengar, you can throw them in there occasionally, so it's, if Lee Sin's banned, I want to pick up the next one that I think will work for my team. On the other side, gonna be that Leona lock-in as well as the Orianna hover. We talked about the utility-style mages. Leona, AD or supports in China, they love to have hard engage tools. They love things like Leona, like Thresh.
Definitely, I mean, when you're fighting so much, especially in the Chinese professional setting, or even in the Chinese amateur setting, a champion like the Radiant Dawn, that Leona is very useful to have. But it does look like Lulu is going to be instantly locked in by NCT, and I mean, when a priority champion falls to you in the third rotation, then you almost always have to lock that kind of pick in.
So NCT did
large prize pool, especially by some of the standards that we see in the Asian regions. Now, what do you think, and we're probably going to get into picks and bans very soon here, but what do you think we're going to see out of both of these teams?
Well, going over the rosters, so Acfun, they have, if you watch LPL, the player that you might recognize is NCT. He was the previous mid lane, I think was the last position he played for Royal Club. Had some pretty questionable Lulu ults, but he is playing mid for Acfun now. They also have Shine, who is their support, and I guess he was considered to be a support pickup by OMG. So I'm going to put heavily emphasis on that. I think Acfun is the favorite here to win. Hangong Club, pretty much across the roster, to me at least, it's a lot of unknowns. They're not actually an LSPL team. They didn't qualify for LSPL. They came from the TGA Grand Prix. They are well known though for the G League. They happen to knock out OMG. So I don't know how someone goes from knocking out OMG from the G League to then not qualifying for LSPL, but it happens. They do have a star player in the form of BML, however. They're 80 carry, so go figure. A Chinese team has a star player that's an 80 carry.
Right, and the LSPL, it is important to remember that while the LPL does run only 8 teams, the LSPL, I believe, runs 16. So to not have made the LSPL despite having, some prestigious history, obviously if you knock off a team like OMG, that's pretty big as we get into picks and bans here. They've been looking shaky recently, so immediately we see the Kale ban coming out from Acfun, we see the Thresh ban coming out from Hangong Club, fairly standard bans right now, and a Lee Sin ban as well.
Consistently staying standard with that Lee Sin ban. And it's important to know that this is a best-of-3 sudden death elimination. So if you lose a lot of Lulu in his time on Royal Club, like I said, he didn't get the best reviews for that position, and obviously has since been replaced and kind of knocked down to the LSPL Acfun. I will say, though, that the game that I was watching to try to get a bit of a grip on these teams, he was 3-0. So, complete turnaround of his normal composure in the LSPL.
So we have to wonder whether, because Minoko did change his summoner spell, he was running Teleport and now he's running Ignite, and I think that is a popular summoner spell on Tarp Jarvan, so you do have to wonder whether that is a top J4. Looks like Victor will secure himself the Lucian here, while on the other side, for the side of Hangong Club, I believe that Suda is going to lock in the Shyvana, and it looks like BML is going to take the Twitch. So, fairly standard picks coming out, and I think we're going to see a lot of team fighting with these compositions.
And no surprise there that their star player BML on that Twitch will pick up a hyper carry. I know that he's known for his flashy plays. At least he was recognized for having some flashy Jinx and Lucian plays, so I don't know how flashy you can get with Twitch without instantly dying, but I wouldn't mind seeing some crazy on Twitch. Ooh, Gragas top. So with that Gragas being hovered, that's going to be a J4 jungle.
Yeah, and Gragas does do fairly well. Would do fairly well against Suda's Shyvana. The most curious thing here, obviously, is the ignite that Minoko is still hovering over, because usually when you and I cast the LPL, we usually see the Gragas tops run teleport. So really interesting adaptation. We have to keep an eye on whether Minoko does decide to change the summoner spell. He is going to run the teleport top Gragas.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Obviously, Gragas has a lot of utility that he can bring to teams, so I want to take that teleport so he can get more involved here. I like the fact that Shine is actually running the Morgana support. It's been a long time. I feel like we haven't really seen any Morganas pop up.
It definitely has, yeah. And Morgana, of course, is a very strong champion, even though not as popular in the LPL and the Chinese scene, and as I think in the OGN as well. I don't see nearly as many Morgana picks both in the OGN and in the NLB, so nice pickup from Shine there. They really want to put a lot of, give a lot of strength to their AD carry, Victor, and make sure, he's able to carry from the early to middle stages of the game. And I think the last pick for Kyo will be that Elise lock-in.
And Elise, the other go-to jungler, I feel like Elise has fallen a little bit wayside as well in kind of the recent jungle meta picks as far as like in the LPL. I know the LSPL, it's kind of interesting, even though one of these teams isn't from the LSPL. It has a little bit of a different meta, I feel, just because, I mean, technically you have more teams, so there's more places to find like individual people to push strategy and to not plateau on kind of like a stagnant composition.
Right.
I find that there's a lot more casted in play in the LSPL. There was a lot more Twisted Fate play. It's kind of exploded now into the LPL with kind of the return of form of Cool, but
yeah, and so, obviously going down the list, if I can remember off the top of my head, Acfun locked in a very standard, I myself call it the Invictus gaming composition. They have the Jarvan 4 in the jungle, they have Gragas top, Lulu mid, Morgana support, and they do have Victor on that Lucian as his AD carry, while on the other side, I believe that the members of Hangong Club locked in Shyvana for the top lane, and we see the picks coming up here. Crow's going to have the Elise, CK is going to have the Orianna, BML is going to have the Twitch, and Y is going to have the Leona. So tell me what...
Hello， 观众，欢迎收看今天的德玛西亚杯，我是娃娃，我是米勒。
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hugo Souldra and I'm here tonight for a beautiful set, best of 3 between Acfun and Hangong Club. This is the Demacia Cup, and we are in week 5, and I'm here tonight with the beautiful and lovely Miss Ryan Froskurinn. Fro, how are you doing?
I've never had an intro quite like that, Hugo, and I'm doing fantastic.
This is my first time playing play-by-play casting, so I do hope that our Twitch audience goes a little bit easy on me, but hopefully, obviously these teams aren't of the highest caliber in China, but hopefully we do see some of that, classic fighting, fight-heavy LPL style that makes the Chinese scene so entertaining.
And you are right. Today it's not any LPL team, so a little background about the Demacia Cup for those who haven't watched it. I know that the Demacia Cup likes to really get to champ select, so we'll try to hurry this up. It's a tournament of 28 teams, TGA Grand Prix teams, LSPL teams, and LPL teams. It's for a $115,000 total prize pool. I believe the winner walks away with $48,000. This is US dollars, so it's not for any qualifier points, not for circuit points. You don't get into a free split or anything with this. It's literally just for the bragging rights and the chunk of change. The one thing that is very unique about the Demacia Cup, however, is that it includes everyone. It's not just the LPL, it's not just LSPL, but it's the entire all 28 teams coming together and playing together. So it's very nice sometimes to see these not as experienced teams facing off against the LPL teams that we all know and love. And today, like you said, it's going to be Acfun versus the Hangong Club.
Right, and even though some Western fans might not consider $48,000 to be the largest chunk of change out there, this is a very large